So this week we'll be looking at what Bloom offers as his rival American religions, in part because they're American born and bred. However, his disdain for them is really barely veiled. In fairness, they do not fit his thesis about what is at the heart of American religion precisely. However, I have a slightly different take on them. Before moving on, you should note that we are skipping Pentecostals for the present because I think Bloom completely misses the point on them. Modules 7 and 8 will deal with Pentecostalism, Charismatics, and Prosperity Gospel. These are three different but related groups that make an interesting case study in American religion, but more on that next time. For the present, we are looking at Christian Science, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, and the New Age. Interestingly, Bloom subtitles the Jehovah's Witness chapter against the American religion. I think on this one point he shows some insight. I would argue that of the four listed, the two outer, first and fourth, that Christian Science and New Age, have some distinctively American characteristics, which Bloom notes fairly well. And the Seventh-day Adventists, insofar as they are consistent with basic doctrines, and the Jehovah's Witness are very American reactionary movements. What Bloom fails to see in his estimation of the reaction to the American religion, especially the JWs, is tied to his failure to understand apocalyptic literature generally and the Book of Revelation specifically. And that's a bold claim for me. I know I don't mean it to make it sound like hands down I know more than Bloom. That's not what I'm pointing. But I think he misses some key points about that literature because the perspective from which he reads it. And he makes no effort to hide his distaste for the Book of Revelation, and seemingly little effort, from my perspective, to really understand it in its original context. What is most important in this unit is related to the Jehovah's Witness and the New Age. Christian Science is such a minuscule group and not growing. However, the chapter on it does serve to highlight some American aspects related to prosperity that have not been focused on to this point. That is the main reason for reading it. Some of those will relate to prosperity doctrine as well. The Adventists are losing many of their distinctives outside of Saturday worship. There is something of a reaction to Americanism, but it's mild. Still, what we will discuss about the relation of socioeconomic class and the importance of apocalyptic to religious community relates to them as well. I will spend more time on Jehovah's Witnesses. Apocalyptic understanding is essential to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and while their theology makes little sense to the outsider, its emphasis becomes less enigmatic when we pay attention to the social status of most adherents in light of the point of apocalyptic in society. As for the New Age, it is the comfortable spirituality of the wealthy and comfortable. For this reason, I think it relates in some ways to the growing number of spiritual but not religious among the young middle class in America. The New Age movement provides the theological backdrop for the nominal spiritualists of the comfortable American white upper middle class. While the to-do list looks a bit long in this unit, it is no longer than the other modules. It may be shorter because there's less to discuss, and the individual segments are shorter.